Hi everybody, it's really a pleasure talking to you all. We generally tend to go on radio and we don't know who we are talking to. 3.8 million people, 2.5 million people from various walks of life, from the mass to the class. But trust me, it makes life so meaningful. Better? There's a slight feedback. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2, check. Yeah, thanks. I just like to say one thing. Life is never easy. It's how easy you make it, irrespective of whatever situations. And if you really want to be successful in life, it's important to do what you love and love what you do. And I think that's what makes an individual more happy, more go-getting, and more wanting to do what he or she wants to do. My story is a little strange, I come from a business family. And generally, as expected, you will eventually become an entrepreneur, sit behind a desk, make money, do the usual stuff. But when I was in class 6, suddenly I got this fondness for radio because I wanted to hear international music. So I used to log on to various international radio stations just to check out what kind of music is played, how do these guys get across, and that's where I kind of fell in love with music. Of course, there was the Indian radio stations, and of course, there were the international radio stations. It all began, the journey began when I was in class 6. My dad bought me this lovely radio set, and religiously, I used to get onto shortwave. FM was not there those days, and listen to a lot of international radio stations. And then, when I finished class 10, I still remember I got my first motorcycle. It's crazy when you're just 15, 16 years old and you tend to zip around on a bike. But life was fun. I was adventurous. And I always wanted to live my dream, not realizing that it's going to be coming so fast. So those days, I'm talking about 82, 81, maybe most of y'all, or at least a lot of y'all, weren't there on this planet, am I right? Okay. So one Saturday night, I used to go regularly to the night spot, which was at the Calcutta Swimming Club because my father was a member there. And so this used to be this jam session from 8 p.m. right till 12 midnight. So the reason why I used to love hanging out there, because I would get an opportunity to listen to great music. So one Saturday night, I go there as usual, zipping on my bike, I reach the place. And into the night, fortunately for me, unfortunately for the DJ there, he had one too many. And on the console, he fell asleep. He was just zonked and conked. The music stopped. It was pin drop silence. And then suddenly in 2 minutes, I have a lady in the crowd calling me, and she was a committee member, the entertainment committee member. And she tells me, Jimmy, why don't you start DJing from next Saturday? So I said, excuse me, I've got no idea about DJing. I don't know how to go about it. All she said one thing. She said, Jimmy, I know you. You love music. You can do it. So there, the next Saturday, I go to the Calcutta Swimming Club with my world of music, which was 6 audio cassettes. 6 audio cassettes was my world of music. And there was 2 cassette decks at the DJ box, an outdated amplifier, and 4 outdated speakers, which I still wonder how it worked. But that's how destiny, calls it. I kind of started DJing, loving what I do, and that's how I began. It goes way back to February 1983. It's nearly been 36 years. And trust me, there was no one to teach us, no one to tell us what buttons to press. There was no mixer. There was no mic. And those days I couldn't talk or speak to save my life. You know, it was a scary experience. And I still remember I used to set one audio tape, play it, the minute the song finishes, press a button, play the next audio tape. So it was over the years, I would say about 1 or 2 years, you know, when I started DJing, there used to be one couple on the floor. And over the year, 2 years, slowly the place got crowded. So the Calcutta Swimming Club decided to bring in a top-of-the-line audio system. So that came in. And I was a little zapped because, you know, in those days we don't see high-tech stuff. But again, there were 2 cassette decks. This time there was a mixer with a mic. So I was very happy about it. So one Saturday night I decided, there's a mic, there's a mixer, and there's so much you can do with the system. I love the way the guys talk on radio. They are, yo, check it out, go, they are fantabulous. I said, if those guys can do it, even I can do it. So the first day of my life, when I picked up a mic, and I decided that I have to talk on the mic, I decided to have to announce a song, play the song, and engage with the guests. I was very, very nervous. You know, when I was holding the mic, my hand was shaking. I announced the wrong song. I played another song, and at the end of it, the mic fell off my hand. And the only sound which was the thud of the mic falling on the ground. You know, that's how I began my interaction with people over the mic. You know, I strongly believe in one thing. If you want to do something, you can do it. No one can stop you from doing it. It has to come from within. It's not about what you do. It's about how you do it. It's about how you engage. It's not about Jimmy sitting behind a console or standing behind a console and playing music. But it's Jimmy standing behind the console and playing that kind of music which makes people on the dance floor happy. People on the dance floor enjoying themselves. As I always say, you can't clap with one hand. You need to clap with 2 hands. And, you know, effects and sound effects really do a lot of good to life because they tend to kind of energize you all the way. So, as I'm continuing with my story, because all the interesting parts come towards the end. So I know you guys are very, very serious, wondering what I'm going to be saying, how I'm going to be saying. But guys like us, those days, no one taught us. There were no coaching classes. There were no top DJs. You know, today, every para or every locality has about 10 DJs. And even before they start DJing, they have the best of equipment. Those days, we had nothing. We just had the thought that we love what we do and we want to do it. So, life continued. In the 90s and the early 90s, I did opening acts for Dr. Alban. And opening acts doesn't mean singing. I can't sing to save my life, okay? Okay, I just use my voice to talk and I play a lot of music. So I did opening acts for Dr. Alban in terms of DJing, Tata Young. I did opening acts for Bryan Adams, Paul Oakenfold, various people as a DJ to start off the night. You know, so you kind of get the crowd on high and then the performers come on. It's been a fantabulous experience from that point. And then suddenly one Saturday night I get a call from one of the top hotels in Calcutta saying that, hey, we'd like to come over and for a period of 8 weeks we'd like to do an amazing contest so we can give out, you know, vouchers to the best dancing couple on the floor. So that continued for 8 weeks. The F&B manager and the top shots were at the Calcutta Swimming Club and we were giving out vouchers to the best dancing couple. And the place was beautiful because Calcutta Swimming Club didn't have a discotheque structure. They used to remove tables and chairs in the center, and from 8 p.m. till 12 midnight, families, kids means teenagers, and the older audience used to enjoy. In those days, it was pure music and pure enjoyment. Nothing like what happens today many a time. So, after 8 weeks, once again I get a call from Taj Bengal. Jimmy, would you like to join us? They were just going to launch in 1993 one of the finest nightclubs ever the city had seen. So again, I had never done professional DJing in a nightclub with high-tech equipment. But then again, I said, why not? And there on the 1st of April, to be precise, the 2nd of April, 1993, I joined the Taj as a DJ and launched their discotheque called the Incognito, which was again an amazing experience. Life goes on, and I'm going to cut it short, very, very short just now. While I was DJing at the Incognito, I still remember, it was the end of 93, and I got a call from a huge media company saying, hey, this is so-and-so. We'd love you, to join radio. So I said, heck, I've never done radio. I don't even know how it works. Please. What this guy just said, one thing. He said, Jimmy, you speak well, and that's what we want. That's it. By the time I'd actually started speaking well from my experiences while DJing. So I said, why not? And in February, after a stretch of interviews, I joined my first radio station. It goes back to 1994, February. 3-4 months we were told exactly, what to do, how to do, and how to go about with it. But I had never been inside a radio studio. So on the 26th of July, 1994, the first ever live broadcast by a private FM station. I still remember it was 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was told, those days we used to broadcast from the All India radio studios because we never had our own setup. So I walked in at 7 o'clock and I was zapped. There was high-tech stuff all over. Even there were cassettes at the All India radio studios. And there was this engineer from Delhi. So I said, what am I supposed to do? He said, nothing. Just put up the slider and speak into the mic. I said, wow, that sounds quite easy, No tension in that place. So at 7 o'clock sharp, the music came on, the top of the hour, which we call it, to start off the show. And I still remember my first 2 words on radio. I don't know, I said, good morning, Calcutta. I don't remember what exactly I said. But I didn't realize I have such a powerful voice. Eventually, the view meters on the mixer went to the red. The mixer tripped. The transmitter tripped. I was off air for 3 minutes. I didn't realize it. And that's how I started my radio career. It's been an amazing 25 years. Because at the end of the day, it is not what I just love doing and I enjoy doing it. It's how one connects with people. It's how one interacts with people. It's how one makes a difference to people's lives. There have been a lot of instances, where we have engaged, we have spoken, we have interacted. And again, why I'm telling you this story, my story, because it's not just getting into an offbeat profession. When you get into something you love doing, it's not just for yourself. Remember one thing, it's for yourself and also for the people around you. In life, there's a mantra. Do what you love doing and make a difference to people around you. Just don't do it for yourself. Okay? It's very, very important. Because small drops, when they come together, they make an ocean. So as a single individual, you'll be a small drop. But if you get a lot of individuals coming together to make that difference, you'll have a puddle, you'll have a huge puddle, and then you'll have a massive ocean. And trust me, that's how the difference is made. So in the process of starting radio, again, we were learning. Every step of the way we were learning. And I'm so happy that I learned the tough way. From audio cassettes as a DJ, to the high-tech equipment, to starting with basic equipment at a radio station, doing what we are doing today with highly computerized scientific structure of radio. Because we learned the hard way. And with that, I want to come back to the first line I said. Life is never easy, it's how easy you make it. Today, there's so much in store for all of y'all. There are 128 alternative careers. We never had those days. Rightly said, either you become a doctor, engineer, that kind of stuff. And before I go on, I must say, when I got my first opportunity to DJ at the Calcutta Swimming Club, the people who were most supportive were my parents. They said, just go ahead. You love it, you like it, go ahead, do it. Okay? And it has to come together, somewhere or another, because otherwise it doesn't work. Parents today recognize talent. Parents today encourage their children to go out and make a name for themselves. It's not about the stereotype professions. So there I was in radio from DJing, playing a lot of music. As one would say, yeah, these guys play good music, they have a sexy voice, the show is good. Remember, radio is not just about a sexy voice or playing good music. Radio is about reaching out, radio is about connecting, radio is about engaging, radio is about making a difference, and radio is all about getting smiles on people's faces when they are feeling low, because you don't know who's listening to you. When someone may be happy, someone may be sad, someone may be disappointed in life, and just what you say and how you engage works wonders. I just remember last night, a guy from Chennai who used to stay in Calcutta gave a call and wanted to be connected to a girl in Chennai. So, I was playing the triangular love module, connecting two people in Chennai through a radio station in Calcutta. But that's the kind of belief they had. And I'd just like to share two stories with you which will make you realize the power of the medium, and the power of the medium which I love, and the power of the medium which has made me what I am today. One night, I do a show called Direct Dil Se. I've been doing that show for the last 22 and a half years. And the show is a late night show. One night, I got a call from a guy, and the first word he says, "Jimmy, I don't want to live anymore." 1:30 in the night, 1 o'clock in the night, you kind of get zapped, saying, "Yaar, mere show mila. You just got my show to give a call. No other show." I didn't say that, but I was thinking aloud. So I said, "What's the issue?" He said, "Jimmy, I'm feeling very lonely. My mom's into kitty parties, my dad's into business, my sister's on her own trip. I'm totally lonely and I have no friend in my own house." So I said, "What about college?" And he said one thing is, "Jimmy, when family is not friend, I can't even think of having friends in college." I spoke to him for about 3-4 minutes initially, and then he said, "No, Jimmy, I think I need to hang up." I said, "No, there's no need to hang up." I spoke to him for 11 minutes, and there were sounds of wind coming, and I asked him, "Where are you?" He was standing on the terrace, on the 4th floor, at the ledge, looking down 4 floors and talking to me. I carried on speaking to him, convinced him to get down after about 15 minutes of talking live on air. Today we are very good friends. Today he's one of the top lawyers in the Calcutta High Court. And whenever we meet, he says, "Jimmy, radio gave me a second life." It makes so much of a difference when you engage and when you interact. One more story. In fact, there's so many stories I could write 2 books. And I know the lady with that is, the 6s and 4s are coming up. But I'll just take a couple of more minutes. And that's what's important. I still remember I got a call from a lady, very depressed. She was literally crying on the phone and she said, "Jimmy, I'm really down." I said, "What happened?" She said, "I live in the same complex and there's this guy. We've been, very good friends since we were 2 years old." I said, "Wow, that's great." So she said, "No, he's going to see a guy tomorrow." So I said, "You should be happy. He's going to see a guy tomorrow. He's going to be settling down. Hopefully he'll get married." She said, "No, but I'm really disappointed." So I knew where it was leading, so I asked her. I said, "Do you like him?" She said, "Of course I like him. He's a good friend." I said, "Do you more than like him?" She said, "What kind of a question is that?" I said, "Please answer me." She said, "Yes." I said, "Do you love him?" She said, "Now, Jimmy, enough is enough." I said, "Please tell me." She said, "Yes, I think I love him, but what should I do?" And she burst out crying. So what happened is I told her, get in touch. Let him know your heart. Maximum he'll say, "Listen, I just want to be a good friend." She gave him a call at 1:30 in the night. Because when she called back to me half an hour later, she was sounding very happy. She gave him a call at 1:30 in the night. She called him up to the terrace. So I told her, I said, "Are you crazy? Calling a guy at 1:30 up to the terrace, what do people think? What are you two up to on the terrace?" She said, "No, but the minute he came onto the terrace, she was standing there and she just burst out. She's saying, 'Listen, I'm totally in love with you. I want you to be my life partner.'" And she said, the next thing this guy said was music to her ears. She said, he said, "I have the same feelings for you, but I never really knew how to get it across. Today they are married, they have 3 kids, they are living life beautifully. So there's so much, one can do in life. It's not about doing an alternative profession. It's about coming together and making a difference, getting people to smile, and especially when you're offbeat totally and when you make a difference, life becomes more pleasurable. And going a little bit more offbeat, I'm going to be coming in a movie with a small little role, which I again never done in my life, which is going to be launching on the 10th of May. It's all about an RJ. It's a beautiful movie about how an RJ loses his voice and what happens. So it's been such a pleasure being with all of you all this beautiful day. In fact, I would say afternoon, now morning, this beautiful day. And remember one thing is, it's you who can make a difference. It's you who can change things. You can get all the support and the help. But if you want to do it, no one can stop you from doing it. Remember, live life offbeat. Trust me, you'll be successful. Thank you so much.